Home buyers, you may not be aware, but your buyer's agent could be costing you the real estate deal. We're going to pull back the curtain to let you know what buyer's agents might be doing wrong. We're going to run through a quick list of listing agent pet peeves and potential deal killers for buyers. Hey there, Christian Walsh, real estate agent with Wire Associates. I am primarily a listing agent. I have other members on my team who help buyers. But we have a unique sales and marketing system that we call Eyeballs and Offers that generates a lot of offers for our seller clients. Some of our listings may get 20 or more offers, and in reviewing these offers, we find that there's often some common mistakes that buyer's agents make that could jeopardize the deal for their clients. Submit the offer on the correct paperwork. Most areas have standardized paperwork throughout the United States. All throughout California, we use this purchase agreement to submit offers on properties, and agents need to use this. If they're submitting on a residential unit, a residential home, you need to use this paperwork. No reason to get crazy, try and use an LOI, letter of intent, or anything crazy like that. Use the standard paperwork, and furthermore, make sure that the standard paperwork is filled out correctly. It is very easy for me as an experienced agent to see if a buyer's agent isn't filling this out correctly. Let us know in the comments below if you want to see a video on how to actually fill this offer out. This would be helpful for buyers and sellers. Another important thing on here are contingency periods. If it's going to be a competitive process, there's going to be a lot of offers. There's things that a buyer's agent can work with a buyer on to make their offer more compelling. For example, they can shorten up contingency periods, fill out the offer as it is historically filled out in the area. And what do we mean by this? Well, the splitting of costs in a purchase agreement is actually depends on where the property is. So Southern California does it different from Northern California. So it's up to the buyer's agent to know the historical way to do it. And if there's any variances in how they're going to do it, they need to be able to explain that to the listing agent why they're doing that. So for example, we have both an escrow and title fee. Who typically gets to pick those companies? Well, in Southern California, the seller gets to pick them. And then who pays for what? That should all be broken down in here. Now, just because an agent doesn't fill this out correctly doesn't mean it's dead. They don't have a chance. We're going to clean it up with counter offers. We always do that. But not every agent's going to give that opportunity to clean things up with a counter offer. So the offer needs to come in the right way the first time to make it most compelling for the seller to accept the buyer's offer. And this one seems obvious, but buyer's agents need to pick up their phone. Now, I know the reputation in general for listing agents is they can often be hard to get on the phone, but we're not like that. Please pick up the phone and give us a call before submitting the offer. And then even more importantly, if we have a question that we need answered about the buyer's offer, we need to be able to get that agent on the phone to be able to get the answer to the questions. When presenting offers to a seller, I will let them know if I had any issues in getting the agent on the phone over important things. It is important for a seller to know that because the offer they accept needs to be the highest and best. That offer needs to be the one that not only has a good number for them, a big number for sales price, but it also has to be the one that's most likely to close. If I can't get an agent on the phone before we're under contract, that does not bode well for what will happen once we are under contract. And the next big thing that we find buyer's agents not doing, that simple following directions. We're not asking for anything crazy, and we lay it all out here in the MLS. Yes, this crazy archaic looking thing. This is what the multiple listing service looks on the back end. And I know some listing agents don't put this here, but it's important for a buyer's agent to review. So number one is, how can they show the property and what are the special instructions? So for this particular property, they schedule in showing time and go direct. Supra on the front door. The Supra is a Bluetooth lockbox that can be opened up. So very simple to schedule a showing for this particular property. Sometimes you use this tool, showing time, I reference here. Sometimes you have to call or text the agent. Sometimes you can't show the property. I put it in here, and most listing agents will put in here what to do to show the property. It is a pet peeve if I have instructions in here and a buyer's agent can't refer to this and follow those instructions. Additionally, in here, under private remarks, you won't find this outside of the multiple listing service. It's only for agents to see this. It will have other important information like where and how to submit offers. So I tell people, please submit offers to this email address here and then text me to let me know that you sent the offer. And I can't tell you how many send it to the wrong email address. They use a different one that you can find down here. not the one that's for offers, even though I've mentioned twice where it needs to go. That email address is special. It goes to my team members. They can get cracking on diving into the offer and getting it summarized and getting it ready for the seller. But if you're not following directions, I will know. And then furthermore, I ask you to at least text me if you're not going to call me and tell me you've submitted, because a lot of offers unfortunately end up in spam, and I may not know they're there if you don't let me know as a buyer's agent. So simple instructions here. And there may be other important stuff in here as well. Deadlines for offers, multiple counter offer deadlines, things like that. Too many agents don't bother to check these notes and don't bother to follow these instructions. Another big one in here, this is a property that needs a bunch of work. So I need people to know that going in, that you're not going to be able to use, for example, a traditional FHA loan. All that's in here. And when agents don't read these notes and then you submit to me a standard FHA 3.5% down offer on a property I know won't qualify, you've wasted your time as a buyer's agent, you've wasted the buyer's time, and you're wasting my time. And this one falls under the category of deal killers. What is needed to be submitted with the offer is very important. I will need from a buyer's agent a pre-approval if the buyer is going to be financing, a letter from a lender showing that the buyer is qualified on some level. There's different levels to the pre-approval, but at the bare minimum, give me the basic. The other thing I'll need as a listing agent is proof of funds to close the deal. If it's an all-cash offer, I need to see that there are liquid funds somewhere that the buyer has control of to close on the deal. And likewise, if it's financing, I need to see down payment and enough money for closing costs as well. Those are important things. If I don't get those, especially if I can't get a response from an agent, I cannot recommend that we move forward with that offer. And listing agents aren't unreasonable. If you're still waiting on those documents for whatever reason, you're a day or two away from getting a pre-approval or proof of funds, let the agent know. Most aren't going to fault you, but the buyer's agent needs to be in communication to give that update to the listing agent. This actually hit home recently with me. I'm selling my own home right now, and I had an agent submit an offer that was not fully complete. It did not include a pre-approval of any type, and it did not include proof of funds. The agent did remember to include the document that reflected their commission amount, in this case, about $150,000. I could not get them on the phone nor a response to the email at all about a pre-approval or proof of funds. So how can I move forward with this agent and buyer? I can't. So as of right now, I still have not heard back from them, and as far as I'm concerned, that offer is dead. Let us know any pet peeves you may have if you're a real estate agent watching this, or any questions you have as a buyer or seller. Put those in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to our free weekly email newsletter so you don't miss out on updates you need to know as a buyer or seller. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Christian Walsh, real estate agent with Wire Associates, and we can't wait for you to watch this next video.